why didn't you just stay in New York?
Listen, for me, it's just sort of, again, I guess I found out I have enough of the Trump gene to just be like, okay, we're in a fight, I'm going to fight. And and he's even my dad, he's like Don Jr., he's the radical. You've heard him say that. He's the radical conservative of the family. But I was always that way. I shut up when it made sense because we're building buildings in Manhattan and Chicago and around. It's fine. My first political fundraiser was literally for Andrew Cuomo. It wasn't because I wanted to support it. No, hear me out. It wasn't because I wanted to support a Democrat. It was because he was the Attorney General of New York, and if you're going to build a building, he's the guy that signs off on your offering plan. So you play the game. It was like my father in the debate with Hillary was like, well, Donald Trump doesn't pay taxes. He'd go, yeah, and if you wanted to do something about taxes that your billionaire friends also don't pay, you'd have changed it in the tax code when you were in the Senate but you're not going to do that. That makes me smart, not stupid. So, you have to understand the game.
How long before Andrew Cuomo becomes a Republican? I look at that guy and I'm like, I just judge everything on testosterone level. And Tim Walz is the perfect Democratic man.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just feel the self-hate and the creepiness and the passive aggression, the sweaty palms, and nothing about
the flamboyance. A couple weeks ago when they're like, the party, they fear Tim Walz. I'm watching him prance out.
Totally.
But that's what they think is masculine. I'm like, I don't know, man. That guy wouldn't last 3 seconds with anyone I know.
Totally. But Andrew Cuomo, who I think was a horrible governor and horrible during COVID. I'm not in any way endorsing Andrew Cuomo, but not a low-T character. Yeah. So how long can he remain in that party?
I think, by the way, both Cuomo brothers, Chris Cuomo is a frat boy meathead. Does he really believe a 3-year-old should get transgender surgery? He's playing that game and he's getting paid well to do it. And sometimes you need to put out the guy that looks like the masculine guy. And it's come on, those guys are one day they're going to be like, okay, we were just kidding. It's just
there's 100% chance of that. 100% chance.
I know these guys for years. Like I said, with Andrew, his mother used to sit next to my grandmother at the salon in Queens, New York. We go back a long way. And so when he did that abrupt turn, that's when you're the politics is such nonsense. I'd see that. I got to be a fly on the wall on these things. And he would back channel through me because I was best friends with one of his biggest fundraisers, who was a big real estate guy in New York. And they'd be like, all right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and he's like, thanks for setting that up, Don. The administration got us everything we needed. But the second he got on TV, it was politically expedient to just lie about it. Just tell you the opposite. It was almost, honestly, I had a lot more respect, frankly, for Gavin Newsom in California when he was like, you know what? Trump said he was going to get us this, and he did. I was like, at least he's being intellectually honest. But Cuomo, whether he wanted to continue his political career, the media was like, everyone now in the room, they're a Cuomo-sexual. He was this big sex symbol all of a sudden. Right? Then he gets Me Too, and that was over.
That's a whole new category, a Cuomo-sexual?
CNN was saying that. They're all these women for Cuomo, they were Cuomo-sexuals.
Well, let me just be on the record. I'm against Cuomo-sexuality.
I'm with you. But he knew what was really going on. He had the opportunity to be honest, but he wasn't able to forego hey, anything you say against Trump, we'll make you a hero. We're going to elevate your stature in the Democrat Party. We're going to give you that shot at the presidency next. You just have to bastardize literally everything you know to be good and true about what was going on. And so, that was hard to watch because I was part of some of these conversations.
So what do your friends, the guys you grew up with or the people you worked with in New York City, you're so on the record about what you really think. You're clearly saying exactly what you actually think. What do they say to you now?
It was actually, honestly, for me, it was one of the more refreshing things in life. That doesn't mean it wasn't brutal and sort of a shock at the time, but there are guys that I've been friends with for life, I'm still friends with for life. There are guys that are literally hardcore Democrats that were that have just been successful. They're here's, literally one of my buddies who's very left, he was here's $100,000 for your campaign. Why? What do you mean? I just believe in you, and I don't believe in it, but it's just a show of support. And then there are the guys that would be texting me, hey Don, I love everything that you're doing. You guys are great, keep it up. And then I'd watch them on Facebook where there's an audience I can't believe they'd say this. This is a disgrace. I'm like, dude, I follow you on both places. Like, you don't think I'm going to see that? And then there are the guys that sort of, stay radio silent. And, the day after we won, hey, man, I was with you all along. So I'm like, no, you weren't. They're like, no, I really was. I was like, dude, I've called you like 15 times. You haven't returned my phone call in 6 months. Like, not an imbecile. So for me, it was great. I actually, all those people, and we all probably have them, that guy you meet every other year for sort of the obligatory lunch, and you're like, I got to do it because I knew him since college or whatever, and you're not really excited about it because, all of those people in my life just gone. It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
It was just cathartic, and I was like, it was great.
So I've been brooding about this, as I said earlier, all month. Have those relationships been replaced by new relationships?
100%. I see it, and again, the amount of people that I meet just around the country now, and frankly, I'm that guy that shows up by myself, and I don't have teams of handlers that this person has access, and
you actually have no handlers at all.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you see that.
I'm aware.
Showed up plenty of places, including here tonight. I'm here. Whatever, give me a mic. I'm not bad at this. I can probably handle it and be fine. I've met so many incredible people, and it's been awesome, actually. And so again, to your point about just sort of having a pulse, it's like those people that were rich, out of touch people because there's no consequence to sort of, we'll be really woke and we can virtue signal all day long. And, who cares if someone, in a far off state is getting murdered? My kids have security driving them to school. It's like those people have been replaced by real Americans who are just genuinely good people. And it's been awesome for me. It's been awesome.
I believe that.
I mean, just moving to Florida, right? It's like, I was a political refugee from the People's Republic of New York. Now,
What's that been like moving to Florida?
Honestly, it's surreal. And I wasn't sure I'd like it. I was like, I've been coming here my whole life. We've had assets and we vacation here, but I was like, I love the seasons and I love my cabin on the river and what the stuff I'm into. I was like, Florida's kind of flat and now it's
very flat.
Yeah. Now I'm I literally you couldn't pay me to move back. You couldn't. No. Where I live, I mean, I can show up to the nicest restaurant in town in flip-flops and a t-shirt, and I'm usually that kind. And it's like, hey, Don, what's going on? It's I feel like Norm at Cheers. Over an entire state with a population of 25 million people. That is an awesome feeling. That is an awesome feeling.
I mean, I don't know if people know this, but you're bombing around, flying commercial, you're always out. How do people treat you?
Honestly, listen, when I do that, I go casually, but that's what I'm saying. When I talk about the pulse, I literally can't name a negative instance in a year. Every once in a while you get some guy usually, everyone's a badass on the internet, everyone's a tough guy, behind a keyboard, but face to face, it's they shut up. But so, when I tried just going into, I took 75 selfies getting from the door of the hotel here today to the elevator and back out, and it's so people have been great. I literally can't name an instance that's been negative. And in 16, I'm not saying it was terrible, but it definitely was 5% of it was visceral reaction, 10% was a negative reaction. I can't remember the last negative reaction I've gotten publicly. And now, to what we sort of started on when I talk about what I see changing, the shift now is it's demographics that you'd be no way. What
do you mean?
Well, I was talking with Kimberly the other day. She's the amount African American men and women now coming up to me, you guys, I love you. You have to win. Before there could have been some people be interesting, maybe take a selfie, screaming, "Make America Great Again" across an airport, and Hispanic. Just all of them. On the African American side, it's definitely more men, but it's we're in a place where it's Kim was you took a selfie with every black guy that was in this room, came up to you to take a selfie and be you got to win. That would have never happened. It's just, the Hispanic demographic across the country, they get what's going on. They understand what's happening. The people who came into America legally, and went through that process, like, they're some of the greatest patriots in our country. Like, they get it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.